What's up everybody, PlayNedge here on BentDice. Today we're going to be discussing about some questions that will help you develop your characters so you can get a more meaningful backstory and a deeper understanding of exactly who it is they are in this world. I'm going to be starting with a disclaimer here. So if you enjoy playing games where you go into the dungeon, you kill everything, open all the doors, you find all the loot, go back to town, sell it, and then come back to the dungeon, this game's probably, or this advice is probably not for you. Now, if you enjoy interacting with other characters, if you enjoy the role-playing experience that D&D has to offer, then continue watching. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. So to get a better understanding of exactly what it is we're talking about here, we're going to make up a character named Alex. Now we're going to ask these questions to Alex, get the answers, and we're going to develop his character as we're going through the questions. But we need a basis to work on. So we're gonna give Alex a class, we're gonna give him a background, and we're gonna give him some personal characteristics, okay? Alex is going to be a bard. He's going to have the entertainer background, and he's gonna have the following personal characteristics. His personality trait is gonna be that he loves a good insult. His ideal is gonna be that he wants something bold in the world. He wants something new. He wants to see a change. His bond is going to be that he really wants to become famous. He wants to gain renown throughout the world. He wants to be well known. And finally, his flaw is going to be that he once insulted a baron, and this baron still wants, some revenge. So that a bit of that, insulting and sassiness coming back to bite on Alex. So already we have a good basis for Alex. We can basically get some basic characteristics for him. He is gonna be a sassy person. He's gonna basically go into a tavern, insult some people, make sure everyone else is laughing. He's gonna be a class clown, right? So with all that in mind, if one of the NPCs comes up to Alex and asks him, where did you learn how to play the harp? Where did you get this quick wit? Then there's no real answer to that. Alex doesn't have anything beyond how to play him. And that's what these questions are there for. The questions are there to give you a way to answer who you are, how you got there, and why you're like the way you are. So without further ado, we're going to jump into question 1. Question 1 is, how old is your character? Now, it's important to know how old your character is because the older your character is, the more they would have done in their past life. For instance, someone who is, say, 30 years old might have gotten married, might have had a child. And that would be, their reasons for going on an adventure would be a lot different than the reasons for someone who is, say, 19 going on an adventure. It has a bunch of different ramifications. The older you are, the more experiences you had, and the more you need to develop those. So you're going to have to worry about your past more the older you get. So for Alex, since he's sassy and he likes insulting people, he likes to have fun, we're going to say he's more of like a, rebellious young person. We're going to go with the age of 24. Now we're going with 24 because not only does he have the young side of him where he likes to have fun, he likes to insult other people, he likes to be going out and having parties, things like that. But he's starting to grow up. And this is gonna kind of create a dissonance where he has to choose whether he wants to stay young or he wants to continue growing up. And so that leaves room for character development throughout the game. Alright, for question 2, we're going to be talking about the childhood of the character. So this is going to involve things like who were their parents, did they have parents, who were they raised by, how were they raised, did they have any siblings, what did they learn to do when they were a child. So, to start right off with Alex, we're going to say he was a youngest of 2 siblings. He had 2 sisters, they were both older than him, that's what youngest means, right? His sisters always liked to make fun of him, and so he had to develop a really good, quick way of coming up with insults back to them, so that way he wasn't basically bullied his whole childhood. He was raised by a single mother. He did know his father. Well, he met his father after traveling for a little bit when he was older. But he developed a real sense of music and musicality in this household. His parent, or his mom, loved music, and so he learned how to play the lute very early on, and it's stuck with him his whole life. And so now he kind of weaves his insults and his quick wit into his songs. For question 3, we're going to be talking about the life after home. So this is going to be things like, have they married anyone? How do they make a living? Have they even traveled? So these questions develop your character past their childhood. So things that have shaped your character after they left home. That's essentially what we're trying to answer right here. For Alex, we're going to say that he left home. He left home to travel to find his father. Now, his mother told him who his father was. Turns out he was a baron, and that Alex was an illegitimate child. Now, Alex went searching for this baron, and he survived going through different towns on the way, and he would be playing in inns, he would make enough money, he'd make food, he'd make rent, and then eventually he got to the baron, right? Now, we already know that, based on one of his personality characteristics, Alex has insulted a baron, and the baron still wants his head. So, we're going to say that his father was the baron that he insulted. So, Alex went in one day, he started playing for the baron's court to try and get a job there, and then he was going to introduce himself as the baron's son. But, due to his nature of insulting people in his songs, Alex actually insulted the baron, and now Alex is being hunted by his own father. For question 4, we're going to be talking about how your character began as their class. So, for Alex, he began as a bard. We need to answer a few questions about that and figure out exactly, how he got to become a bard. So we're going to ask who taught Alex how to become a bard? How much effort did he put into it? Was it something that he just naturally got right away, or did he have to spend a lot of time really mastering the content? And so when we ask these questions to Alex is going to be self-taught. He learned via his mother singing. So he got a lute, and while his mother was singing around the house, he essentially just learned how to play by playing along with her. Now, he has a lot of natural talent. He didn't work very hard at this. He just kind of picked up the lute and was able to play it. And because of that, he's a little more arrogant about how he plays. He believes that, picking up the lute and playing it is easy. It's not something that, you need to try very hard to do, and so he kind of looks down on other people who think that playing the lute is hard. So question 5 is going to be things about community. So where are they from? How do they fit into their community? Are they new to their community? Have they been there a long time? So for Alex, he was raised in a small farm town by his mother, his single mother, and his 2 sibling sisters. He was pretty annoying as a child because, like I said, he enjoys insulting other people. And so most of the townsfolk have this regrettable liking towards him. They think he's funny because he is funny. He is good at making other people laugh, but they don't want to like him because he insults other people. So he was raised in this town. He spent most of his life there. He left around when he was 20, and he spent 4 years traveling. And while on the road, he didn't really have a community. He didn't have anyone he could call his friend. He didn't have anyone to speak to, and so he really has found a lot of solace coming into an adventuring group rather than being on his own. The 6th question is going to be, does your character have any enemies? Now this question is particularly useful for the player to help the GM, because if a character has an enemy already, the GM doesn't have to come up with an enemy to challenge the players. They've already done that for them, so all they have to do is introduce that enemy into the game. You've already got some character struggle. So the things you want to ask your character about this are, who exactly is the enemy. Is it a person? Is it, a society? It could be really anything. Why are they your enemy? Why exactly does your character not like whatever or whoever it is that they dislike? And how long have they been enemies? How long is very important because it determines whether or not this is a very deep-seated relationship that has been weighing on them for a long time, or if it's just something that is like a passing fancy. So, for Alex, his enemy is going to be the Baron, who is his father. Now, Alex insulted his father, so that's why the Baron is his enemy. But for Alex, the reason that his father is his enemy is because he wasn't able to recognize him. He wasn't able to figure out that it was his son playing for him, even though, it doesn't really make much sense that the Baron would think that. And Alex has been enemies with his father for about 2 years. He's been running away from him on the road after it took him 2 years to find his father. And finally, we're at question 7. Now, this one's also really important to help the GM. This is giving your character a motive. So the question is, what drives your character? Why does your character get out of the bed in the morning? It's a very straightforward question, but it's very hard to answer. So for Alex, we're going to answer it with he wants to prove himself to his father. He doesn't recognize that that's exactly what he wants to do. He thinks he wants to get revenge, but he clearly wants to prove himself to his father and have some sort of relationship with his father that's not negative. And that's really what, makes Alex get out of the bed in the morning and continue going on. And he thinks that maybe going on an adventure and gaining some renown will help him do this. And so that's why he's in the adventuring group. So really, he is just looking for some renown. He's looking to become famous so that he can talk to his father. And that fits in with the bond that we gave him earlier, which is he wants to gain fame and renown. And now we know why. It's not just, oh hey, he wants to gain fame, he wants to become famous, right? That is very shallow. But now we have, oh, he insulted his father, a baron, at a party that he was playing at, and now he's trying to seek condolences and basically make up for what he's done and have a relationship with his father. Alright guys, that's going to be it for all the questions here. It was great talking with you guys. If you have any comments, concerns, compliments, or anything, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll try to get to them. There's probably not going to be many of you, so I should be able to get to all of you. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. There should be more content like this. I'm going to be trying to post about 1 video every week on things to help improve your game of D&D. Alright guys, thanks, it's been fun. Have a good one.